Unfortunately, the nature of regret is that most of the time when you're doing what you're going to regret in the future, you're not really aware at the time that you're going to regret it at the time that you're actually going to be doing it. And today we're going to be talking about some of the things that you're probably doing right now as it pertains to real estate that you could end up regretting in the future. Before we get started though, do make sure you give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and let's go and jump into today's topic. And starting out, number one of the biggest things you're going to regret right now is only looking for market information that you want to see. And I mean this both in the positive and the negative sense. So if you are someone who is just convinced the market's going to crash and you're only looking at information that says the market is going to crash, I think that's a mistake because you're not getting the full spectrum of all the information that's coming in. Conversely though, if you're also someone who believes it's all sunshine and rainbows and everything's just going to be perfect forever, then I believe that's also a mistake as well, because you need to have a little bit more of a balance and you need a kind of a full spectrum for what's going on, all the theories that are going around out there that could happen to the market, and you need to make sure that you don't have to agree with everything, but I think it's important to at least have a good understanding for kind of the theories and the logic behind everything, and that's going to make you a much more informed and balanced consumer, whether you're looking at being a buyer or a seller. So that's number one, only consuming the information that you want to hear. The second big mistake that I see people making right now is trying to time the market. Okay, so if you are trying to time the market, I'm just going to give you a really good piece of advice from the investing world, and that is that you can't really time a market. Okay, so it's not timing the market that's going to really help you. It is time in the market that's going to help you. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. Had you bought a property at the height of the real estate market back in 2009, everyone would have said, well, you're a complete, that timing was terrible on that and you're going to really pay for that, which at the time, yeah, definitely would have looked like that. But if you bought in 2009 and held on to it to this current time, how much equity would you be looking at this point? Like how much would that property appreciate regardless of the market that you're in? It would have gone up enormously. So it's not really timing the market, it is the time that you're spending in the market with holding that particular house that's really going to make the big difference. So the people who are trying to time the market, they overanalyze, they spend way too much time trying to focus on stuff that's way outside of their control, and you need to focus more on buy, hold, hang on to it. Okay? If you're looking at flips, that could be a little bit different, but we're not talking about flips. We're talking about we're talking about the people who are buying and selling properties, or investors who are wanting to kind of buy and hold for the long term. And flippers are really the only ones that are really need to worry too much about the timing. And even then, the timing is such a small snippet of time that it's pretty hard to, okay, well, I'll move on from there. Let's take a break real quick. If you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you do know that I focus primarily on the South Central Alaska area. And while that's going to remain the case moving forward, we are actually going to be partnering with our colleagues across the entire state to bring you market updates for what's going on inside the markets of each one of the big market centers here in the state of Alaska, looking at Fairbanks, Kenai, Homer, Kodiak, and Juneau/the Southeast area. So this is going to be a very exciting project called the Trailblazer Project. I've not seen this done in any other state before, where we are bringing you all the market updates for the entire state under the roof of one channel. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So when you guys are seeing market updates coming from people who aren't just me on the channel, you know what's going on there. If you guys are really nice, then we might actually be able to convince some of these folks to actually provide some more content and talk specifically about what it's like living in their market. So when you see these videos pop up, make sure to jump over there, give them plenty of likes, plenty of love, give them lots of comments, and just know that that's fulfilling kind of the mission we still have on the YouTube channel to help you build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate, whether that be in South Central Alaska or anywhere else in Alaska that we have our colleagues in at the moment. So just want to make you aware of that, and let's go and finish today's video. The third biggest regret that I believe people are going to have later on is trying to stress out too much about stuff that is outside of your control. So we can't control who's in office. We can't control the stock market. We can't control the price of oil. So these are all things that are outside of your control. And when it comes to real estate, I agree it does have an impact, But stressing too much about that stuff is not going to help, and it's going to be a regret long term. So what you need to focus on is you need to really focus on just the stuff that you can control, like the condition of the property, and if you do decide to sell it, the pricing on it that's going to create a lot of attention for the property, that's going to be able to hopefully get multiple offers, which is going to create a higher final net for you than you would be able to get if you were just sitting back here just theorizing and worrying all day about how the price of oil or the rising interest rate is going to impact the value of your house. So yeah, that is going to be a big one. Don't let yourself stress out too much about the stuff you just don't really have a whole lot of control over. If you get elected to office, then I'll let you worry about all that stuff all day long. That's what you're paid to do. But for the rest of us, try not to worry about it too much. Now, let's go ahead and take a break real quick. For those of you who've been watching for a bit, you know that I have a seller guide for those who are considering getting your property on the market in the near future here. To get your free copy, go ahead and go to my website. It's in the description section down below. Go ahead and register there. And in the little comment section, just make sure you put seller guide in there so I know what to send you. Now, let's go ahead and finish out today's video. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people making right now is not staying informed at all. Okay, so I understand if you're not looking at buying or selling for a couple of years here, and it kind of makes sense that you're not going to be studying the market like every day like you probably would be if you were looking to buy or sell within the next 6 months or so, and that's perfectly fine. But I do believe it is important that you really do stay informed about what it is that's happening in the market. A great way to kind of stay informed about what's going on is just to check out our weekly market updates for what's going on in all the big markets here in South Central Alaska, and those are probably going to be your best source of just quick, get to the point information that you don't have to subscribe to necessarily. You do have that just out there on YouTube. If you want to have them sent to you directly, then by means, go ahead and just go register to the website and just put in the comments section you'd like to have that texted out to you every month, and we can certainly do that as well. But not being informed at all is kind of a mistake, because you're going to have a lot of people just saying crazy stuff they don't really need to back up, because they're not really using numbers. They're just going off of emotions. And go off the stats, make decisions based off of numbers, not based solely off of feelings in the moment. Also, not being aware of how it is that real estate is being used in your life to accomplish what it is you want to do is going to be something you're probably going to regret later. Real estate is a great tool for accomplishing whatever it is that you're wanting to do, whether that be stability, whether that be creating more freedom in your life, whether that be having a perfect place for you to go and call home that's going to be your own, and being able to do whatever it is you want out there and give you the lifestyle that you really want to have. These are all big things that you need to be considering, and you need to figure out, okay, how am I going to use real estate as the tool that it is to help me accomplish that? And some people really just have no clue, and real estate is just not even on the radar, and I believe that definitely will be a regret later on. I heard about a tenant not too long ago who ended up unfortunately getting evicted from his unit after having lived there for 40 years, and that is so painful, because had he bought a property back in the 80s, then he would own it free and clear right now, and he would have a ton of equity in it. But unfortunately, he's just renting that entire time and fall behind on payments a couple months, and you're out. So that's sad to see, but unfortunately that is the result of decisions having been made. If you're consciously making that decision, that's your choice. But just understand that you're not giving yourself a whole lot of options if you do decide to just rent forever. So when in doubt, I always recommend be looking at being able to acquire real estate as quick as you can, because it does give you a lot more stability. And if nothing else, moving forward, it's going to keep your housing expenses pretty much the same moving forward, whereas rent's going to go up once you get a mortgage locked in. That's not going to be going up unless you get an adjustable rate mortgage, but no one's recommending that. The last big mistake that I see people making right now is not really saving to invest in real estate. And I'm going to say invest in real estate, but really it can be investing in anything. When you're trying to depend just on your paycheck to take care of your retirement, then, that's all fine and good as long as you do continue to work. If you're trying to fund some kind of retirement fund, that's good too. But really, you want to try to invest as early as you can and as often as you can, because creating that passive income is what's going to give you a lot of freedom in the future. That's going to allow you to go and just do whatever it is that you want to do. And that's you really can't put a price tag on that. So do make sure that you're making those sacrifices right now to go and make those investments. They're going to give you that freedom later on. So, future you is going to look back and really thank present you for the sacrifices that you were making. So I sure hope this video has been useful for you. If it has, give this video a like. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section down below, and we'll see you next time.